quadrilaterals. That's a special type of polygon with 4 sides. It's a 4-sided polygon. One type of quadrilateral is what we call a rectangle. It has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it also has 4 right angles. And you actually can indicate that on your quadrilateral. Usually you'll see it look like this, but sometimes you'll see this symbol here. If this is in the corner of your angle, it simply means that it is a right angle, a square corner. When we measure angles, it would measure exactly 90 degrees, like a perfect L. Those are right angles. And in a rectangle, there are 4 of them. The opposite sides are equal and parallel. So that means that this side and this side, they're opposite. They're across from each other. So they're going to be equal. They're also parallel, which means they run the exact same direction, will never touch if you extend them forever and ever. They kind of run side by side. And if you extended them, they would never cross. And that goes same for the top and the bottom. They're equal and parallel. 4 right angles, opposite sides equal and parallel, rectangle. Let's look at some more quadrilaterals. You have a rhombus. It has 4 equal sides, so all the sides are equal and the opposite sides are parallel. The thing here to a rhombus is that it doesn't have to have right angles. You still have your parallel opposite sides, so this side and this side, they would never cross. I put that arrow there to indicate they would just keep going on, they'd never cross. And down here, these are both parallel sides. Where you get into the right angles, when you take a rhombus and you combine it with a rectangle and add in those right angles, then you have a square. A rhombus and a rectangle combined make a square. It has 4 equal sides. So all the sides are equal, which means also the opposite sides are equal. It has 4 right angles, just like a rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the opposite sides are parallel. Here, here, and then top to bottom, side to side, top to bottom. They're parallel. That is a square. Square is like a rhombus and like a rectangle, but a little bit like both, not quite exactly the same. Parallelogram. This is very similar to a rectangle, except there's no right angles in it. Opposite sides are equal, and opposite sides are parallel. But because of this definition, it means that a rectangle technically could be called a parallelogram, but the better name for it is a rectangle. However, if you had a rectangle that wasn't one and was shifted on its side, you'd have this parallelogram where you have these opposite sides that are parallel, and the opposite sides are also equal. So these to the top and the bottom are equal, and the 2 sides are equal in length. Two more types to talk about. We have a trapezoid. This is only one set of opposite parallel sides. You can see here the top and the bottom are parallel, but they're not equal. These 2 sides may or may not be equal. They don't have to be. It doesn't matter. But the point is, if there's one set and only one set of parallel sides in your quadrilateral, so you have 4 sides, and one set of them would be parallel, then you have the trapezoid. A kite is when you have touching sides that are equal, but this does not include a square or a rhombus. Those are completely different. The kite is where you have these, it looks kind of like a kite shape. You have these top 2 sides, which are the same length, and these bottom 2 that are the same length, and that's what we call a kite. You won't work with a kite very much, but the trapezoid you will see a lot more often. Let's compare a rectangle to a rhombus. Here's a rectangle, and here's a rectangle kind of up and on its side. And here's a rhombus, kind of slanted like this and this. But right here in the middle, this is both a rhombus and a rectangle, and it has a special name. We call it a square, which is our regular quadrilateral. And let's think back to that regular. What's a regular polygon? Regular polygons are polygons where all the sides and angles are equal. In this case, I'm making a Venn diagram comparing regular polygons to quadrilaterals. So I have a regular pentagon, a regular hexagon, and an equilateral triangle. All of these are regular polygons. And then I have a rectangle, a trapezoid, and a parallelogram here under quadrilaterals, and right in the middle for both, again, is the square. It's a regular polygon because all the sides are equal, but it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. Let's review some important words that we've discussed in this video. We have parallel sides, which is represented by this double L symbol sometimes. It means sides that would never cross if extended forever. They run side by side. Parallel, side by side. Right angles are perfect square corners. They measure 90 degrees. So if you were to actually get out an angle measuring tool, we would use, they're called degrees is what we measure angles in, and it would measure 90. But really what you need to know is that's a perfect square corner. And remember that little square corner symbol that would go in the corners to indicate that. Here's our challenge. I can recognize examples of quadrilaterals. Rob is making a design using a quadrilateral. Alright. It has 2 pairs of parallel sides. This is important information right here. All sides are the same length. All sides are the same length. There are no right angles. What shape is it? So you have to go back, look at your notes, and think what shape would meet all of these qualifications. There's 3 conditions here. 2 pairs of parallel sides, all sides are the same length, and no right angles. What shape would that be?